Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm here outside the Grenfell Tower near the Ladbroke Grove area in London. As you can see, there's a burnt out shell of this building that's been on the news now and on people's lips for so long. What people don't seem to understand when we're talking about the missing, you see the pictures of missing children and missing people all over the place. How are they missing? These people have been burnt alive, and that's where everybody's heart is. Not just about looking for people who might have gone missing somewhere, or maybe in some hospital in some cases, but actually the bodies of charred, burnt people, men, women and children. I've come across so many people today that has broken my heart, and it's been hard to hold in the tears walking around this area. I met one brother who's just come back from Umrah, and his wife had made a video of herself up in the top floors with her children, making dua and praying, knowing that these were the last moments of her life. I saw her husband in the masjid, and the first thing he did was to come and pray. I spoke to somebody who told me about the case of one of the Syrian refugees. He'd come to this country as a refugee, fleeing the war, and he was inside this building. And he, instead of trying to run out through the crazy black smoke, he just sat down and opened the Quran and started to read it. This was a non-Muslim relating this story. The stories are endless, one after the other, and it's almost impossible to put a number on it, to put a quantity on it. But what you can feel from everybody and know very, very clearly is that the victims in this place were Muslims. They were the downtrodden and the forgotten. And clearly here we have a massive number of people that still are unaccounted for. Several days after, we have had the Queen come down, we've had Jeremy Corbyn come down, and we've had Theresa May not come down. And as a result of that, the nation is aware and awake to her contempt for the people in this place, to her contempt for the poor people, her contempt for Muslims, her contempt for refugees, her contempt for working class people. And we've seen it time and again. It's no coincidence that just now the United Nations has said that the Prevent program that has been essentially spying on Muslims for the past 2 years has been declared as something that is a cause or a contributing factor towards radicalization. But you want to see a factor, you want to see something that radicalizes people? Burning their buildings down and allowing them to be burnt down. One of the family members here was saying yesterday at a protest, they've burnt our people in Palestine, they've burnt them in Iraq, they've burnt them in Afghanistan, they've burnt them in Syria, and now they're letting them burn here again, because the majority of the people in this place were foreigners. They were from Afghanistan, and they were from Iraq, and they were from Eritrea, and they were from Somalia, and they were from all of these countries. It's no coincidence that these people have come from a place that our hands have played a big role in destabilizing their regions. So they sought refuge here. And here they were abandoned once again. Now, it beggars belief. You know, we know if there was a fire in a forest, they'd be flying Chinook helicopters that can carry tons. They could carry tons of water to drop onto that forest, and they probably would if there were any forest fires here. Where were all these helicopters, these military helicopters, and these police helicopters, and these all the other vehicles that they could have used to try and drop some aid, drop some water onto this place, onto these burning people? I've heard testimony from people who said that we tried to go into this building as our relatives were burning inside, and they stopped us. And yet people who don't listen to what you've been told, don't listen to the advice that you've been given, don't stay locked up in your own grave, but come down, rush down and get out. And those people who took that advice are today safe. Those people who took the advice of either the police services or the fire services remained and burnt alive in their own homes. So there have to be very important questions being asked, really important questions. Why is it that the Prime Minister, who, let's face it, was elected, re-elected again, So there are a lot of people who voted for her from parts of the country who don't give a shit about this place. So we want to ask, why didn't she come down here? Why did her advisors cite the fact that there were security concerns? What do you mean security concerns? What kind of security concerns does a prime minister have to come and show some sympathy and humanity towards people who have just been devastated? Where's the security concern? Is she afraid that the people hate her? Does she think that people don't want to see her face? Does she think she's going to get bottled? Because all of that is true. But despite that, she should have shown her face. She should have been here. She should have shown that she got some guts. And more importantly, she should have shown that she cared, that she gave a damn. And that she was brave enough to risk being hounded and mobbed by people who she has been. Let's say, make it absolutely clear. She has been demonizing the Muslim community from the get-go, even before she was Prime Minister. The targeting of the Muslim community, the targeting of refugees, the targeting of the poor, the targeting of working class people is something that she has been doing well before she became a Prime Minister. She did it in her capacity as the Home Office Minister. And so everybody's aware, and she knows now that everybody's onto her. And they're not going to forget, and they're not going to forgive. As you can see in the electorate, what happened? Yeah, she thought that somehow Corbyn wasn't going to get through. He didn't get through. But Corbyn can walk into this area and people will hug him. She walks into this area and she gets bottled. What does that tell you about the Prime Minister? What does it tell you about a person that has repeatedly targeted minorities and made them feel the way that they do? We don't know the numbers of the people that are dead in there. And nobody really cares. Because this has been the attitude that's existed. You know, when they bomb Iraq and they bomb Afghanistan and they bomb Syria, do you think they count the dead? Do you think they care? Can anybody even give a number? No. It's the same here. If lives are valueless there, they're certainly valueless over here as well. It's the same people. They've fled those conflicts and come to seek refuge here. So that's what's happened. And as a result, now we see people, black, white, Christian, Muslim, non-Muslim, Asian, African, wherever, you've managed to bring people together in a way that you couldn't have before. People were divided on all sorts of lines. And now you brought them together because in that place, people of all different creeds and colors were living. And you showed through your inhumanity that you didn't really give a damn. And now you're responding, you're saying things like, mistakes were made. Lessons will be learned. How many times have we heard that crap? How often? You know, these same kids, the same Muslim kids who were fasting in Ramadan, who had come back from the Taraweeh prayers and were only awake extra late at night because of their faith. They came and they knocked on the doors to try to wake people up in the middle of the night. Nobody wants to report that story as something that is intrinsic to what Muslims do because of their faith. They get targeted. The entire community gets targeted because one or two people do something not in our name. But we have to pay the price for it. So what about this? If that's the case, then the response of the government should be something that the entire government is held responsible for. From the housing minister to the prime minister to the council to everyone who could have and should have done something about this. And the cat's been let out of the bag now. So people are no longer going to sit down and take this in a way that they did before. They're standing up. You can see the protests are remaining. You can see, they've said it again and again. A minute's silence every time. Yes, of course, we feel terrible for the people who were killed on Westminster, people who were killed in Manchester. A minute's silence. I'm yet to hear any official talk about a minute's silence or half a minute's silence or a second's silence for the people that have died in here. And I'll tell you why. Out of sight, out of mind. You don't know, you don't care about the people here because they are all different. They don't fit your category. They don't fit the types of people that you want to care about. But you see, one thing that you've managed to do here with your inhuman response is to bring people together. And they really are. They're like a unit. You can't tell the difference here. You can't tell the difference. People in their beautiful multitude of colors and creeds and races really forming together. You did that, Theresa May. You united the community, but united them against you. Put that in your soup bowl and eat it. So finally, my dear brothers and sisters, this is for us the month of Ramadan. And it is a time of coming together, it is a time of mercy, it is a time of compassion, it is a time of success. And the success that we can achieve from this month and this time is ensuring that the unity that we've started to build only gets stronger, not weaker. The harder days ahead will be to maintain unity. The unity might come now because there's a feeling of anger, there's a feeling of sorrow, but there's going to be a point when the government tries, as it does, as it has done throughout the colonies in the past and present, it will attempt to divide us based upon racial grounds, based upon religious grounds, based upon ethnic grounds, based upon class grounds, and we need to see through that. We need to read between the lines and respond in ways that this government gets, that no matter what you try, our unity will be firm like a fist. That's all I have to say, inshallah. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for all of those people who've suffered this tragedy, that He grants paradise to all who've passed away in this terrible time, and that He gives the community the strength to face the hardships that follow on. Jazakallah khair wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.